throwing the ball. Down the middle, James, the lateral to the corner of the end zone. Can you believe that? Artest looking, gets it to Bryant. Bryant dribbling, has to put it up at the buzzer. Banks it in! Oh, he banks in the three! 45, there goes Davis. Oh my God! Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game. Daniels for the win. Good! It's good! LSU does it! On an 0-2 pitch, a missile. Fernando Tatis Jr. Electric!
Hey everybody, welcome to the Overtime Network. It is February 16th, 2025. This is episode 2. My name is Sean, and we are joined today by Justin. How you doing?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
Good.
You getting over here messing up already?
Sorry.
Yeah, the man behind the board messing up, so that's how
Wait a minute.
show's gonna go.
Hold on. Reintroduce yourself because something got messed up.
My name's Sean. Thank you. I had a 2-week hiatus. Honeydews and Super Bowl. So I'm back in the main chair. Ian's behind the desk. Justin's to my left. Dawson, you're on the right. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. How
Good.
about yourself?
Doing just peachy. How was your week?
It was good. Stayed pretty busy and it was a good week.
Did you get stuck in the snow at all?
No.
Oh, I did. I got stuck in the snow.
Yeah, I had to come bail you out.
And my freaking battery died. All on the same day.
That's not going to be a good thing going forward because that's going to be my truck. So I'm not happy about that. But whatever. It's all right. It's all good. Ian, how was your week?
Cold,
Yeah.
wet, cold, tiring.
We've all been dealing with the snow and the wet here in Idaho, but it's all good. We got some sports to talk about. Got the Super Bowl to review and everybody's thoughts on that. And just to touch a little on that, we're also going to talk about what our thoughts are on moving the Super Bowl and the national championship to different weekends, different days. See what we think about that. We got Kellen Moore as the new head coach of the New Orleans Saints. Get everybody's thoughts on that. And also, the Jets tell Aaron Rodgers that he can't do the Pat McAfee show because it's a conflict of interest and a distraction. Don't know what I think about that. And Canelo Alvarez fighting William Skull for the undisputed championship. So we got some topics to talk about. Probably some news later on, but we'll see how that goes. What's everybody's thoughts on the Super Bowl? Everybody like the outcome?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was
Love
good.
it.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I was happy with that. I mean, I think most of the country was happy with that.
I think so too. Other than central part of the country, I think everybody was generally happy with the outcome, and I was cheering. I think that's the most I've cheered in any Super Bowl in the last 5 years.
My only downside to the Super Bowl was that Saquon didn't get a touchdown. That was only it. But basically everybody I liked in that game got a touchdown. Hurts, Smith, Green, just not Saquon.
I've never cheered so hard for a blowout. Usually when there's a blowout in the Super Bowl, I'm ticked because it's not a good game, but I was so happy the whole entire time.
Yeah.
And, all the conspiracy theorists that the referees are on the Chiefs' sides. And of course, the very first call went against the Eagles. It's like, okay, well, that's how this game's going to go. But I think overall, it was fairly called. There were a couple of misses on both teams, especially that hand to the face that Mahomes took on that forced fumble. But I'm not going to grouse about that because I like the aftermath of that and what happened.
Yeah.
So he's like, it's bound to happen, and you got to take what you can give. So,
did you see that? There's a couple plays where Travis Kelce just gave up.
Yeah.
He was doing anything.
The whole game.
I think a lot of people were talking about that, especially because they put him against Sweat, and he could do absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And then when Patrick was scrambling, he was just standing out there in the middle of nowhere doing nothing, not trying to get open. I saw him like, hey, I'm open, but Patrick was too busy running for his life to even think about throwing the ball. But I think they were just so out of sync that Philly had them so far back on their heels that they had no game plan. And they just couldn't recover from the hole that they dug themselves in.
Yeah, and Philly's defensive line was stacked.
They're massive.
They had no problems getting to him.
No. None whatsoever.
All like Georgia and stuff.
Yeah, pretty much. I know they have Jalen Carter. And, you know, I heard that he was sick, too, that week going up to it. I think they had, like, the flu. Something got out in the locker room. And so I was like, when I saw that, I was like, damn, that's going to be the thing. You know, they're going to lose. And it's like, they didn't get the flu. Could they have beat the Chiefs? But it didn't matter. It really didn't matter because the Chiefs did not show up.
Mm-mm.
And, yeah, that was wild. What did you guys think of the halftime show?
I didn't watch it.
I didn't watch it either. I was driving to another house.
I was not really planning on watching it, but I was also, I think, still cooking some food and just messing around in the kitchen, whatever. So I wasn't really planning on watching it anyway.
Yeah. Did you see it, Dawson?
Yeah, I mean, like, it was pretty lackluster, but I like Kendrick Lamar. I liked it.
Yeah.
But
I heard it
wasn't
mixed,
anything crazy.
I mean, yeah, I like Kendrick's music, but I didn't get to see it. So, and I should have gone back and watched it because it was a talking point for a lot. I kept seeing it pop up everywhere on like X and just like different YouTube videos were talking about it. But yeah, I mean, I guess mixed reviews on it, but Kendrick's dope. So
It was better than the Travis Scott where he just had the SpongeBob in the beginning,
Yeah.
remember? And it was like, dude, that was your whole show. It was just
Yeah.
SpongeBob.
what like special effects, I guess, did Kendrick have? Because was the stage changing?
Wasn't the special
like-
effects Serena Williams?
Oh, yeah, doing the
walk?
crip walk. I think it was just like
Kinda
a video game kind of style thing.
But it was under it. It was changing.
yeah, like the
like a
lights and
screen.
stuff.
Okay, yeah. I saw something like that, but I didn't. Like I said, I didn't watch it, so I wasn't sure.
There weren't a lot of special effects or stuff like that. Aerials like Rihanna and Lady Gaga did. Nothing like that. Kept it all grounded.
Yeah, I feel like the Super Bowl halftime shows have just kind of gone down because they're making so much money. They're probably like, whatever. I just got to do this for like 30 minutes. It's not like, you know, couple songs. And I heard the sound quality wasn't very good. Was that true? Like people were saying I could barely understand him.
Yeah, it just kind of seemed like it wasn't really lining up all that well. Or like the way he was rapping, it didn't sound like the song.
Well,
But that's kind of how it always sounded.
you know, what about the commercials?
Commercials, I think, I don't even think it's a talking point anymore.
It's not even really a thing anymore.
Because
huh?
they don't show them just specifically during the game. They always premiere them before.
Well, yeah,
And they're not even that creative anymore.
yeah, there were none that stood out to me. Like they were kind of. I saw the same commercials I see normally during the normal
Yeah.
time of the year watching sports. On that, I did see like 3 UFL commercials, which is nice because that is coming up.
There are a lot of
and-
previews for that. So
Yeah, that'll be fun. But other than that, I mean, it was all like the same ones. I mean, a Gronk commercial, I think, with USAA and was it Pizza Hut?
well,
as
Pizza
well?
Hut with Ashton Genty and Gronk.
I didn't
So
see that
kinda
one. Was
Oh,
that
yeah, I didn't see it.
was that on during the Super? Did you catch it during the Super Bowl?
I saw
or-
it. Well, I saw it on YouTube before because I read about it online that he was in a commercial with Gronk, and so I watched it, and it was just a short little clip, and he jumps through a window,
Yeah.
and then he sits down and smiles. He doesn't have too much to say, but it's still kind of cool.
Yeah, but yeah, no, they were kind of lackluster, and like I said, the same ones you see if you're just watching TV, which kind of sucks.
Even the Budweiser one really isn't that good anymore, and that's usually probably one of the best ones.
Yeah, I think Michelob Ultra is starting to be the one that has the more creative commercials. I've noticed they had a, what was it? Who was the William Dafoe and I can't remember the actress's name. They were playing, was it pickleball?
Oh,
yeah.
Or- that one was pretty good because I
Mrs.
like
Rose.
I like William Dafoe.
Home
so-
Alone's mom. I can't remember her name. Catherine.
She's in Beetlejuice too.
Oh yeah.
She's the mom in Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
So yeah, we know all the movies that she was in. We just can't remember her name.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But
So yeah, that just shows you, the Super Bowl was. It was okay. It was good.
Do you
I like
think-
the outcome.
do you think the Chiefs, the reason that they struggled other than on offense but defensively is because they sold out to stop Barkley? Because I kept seeing a lot of people talking about that. Is they really did. He didn't do much, but
25 attempts, 57 yards. Yeah.
yeah. So was that the problem? Was they just selling out?
We got 2 yards carry pretty much.
Yeah.
What were Hurts' numbers?
So passing, he was 17 of 22, 221 yards, 2 touchdowns and an interception, and then rushing 11 carries, 72 yards and a touchdown. So he had a pretty good.
So you still got
overall
120 yards rushing.
Yeah.
So I mean that's a decent game.
Oh, as a team.
As a team, yeah.
As a team.
Yeah.
Hurts looked like freshman Alabama Hurts in the national championship against Deshaun Watson.
I think he was determined to get that trophy.
Did you see how tired he looked after in all his pictures? Like when he's at Disneyland or Disney World?
He's all hungover.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of how it is anymore. Really, people are really. I don't think they really want to go. It's just kind of obligated. Hey, we're going to send you. Okay, you know.
Wait,
but
do
you
they
got to
really
take
send them?
take your girlfriend and your kids. What's that?
They really send them to Disney World? Because I always see
The
those
next
like
day.
those like
The very
jokes
next-
where I'm going to Disney World or Disneyland, like
No,
like
I
thought the whole
tennis
team
player or
It's-
something.
It's Disney World, and they send them the very next day.
Oh
So that's why they're standing up there, just kind of doing the rodeo queen wave.
So it must
Their
be
eyes
like a
are half
partnership.
closed. They're hung over.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. It's,
If you heard somebody screaming, it's my wife sneezing. Apparently.
Yeah. Yell through the vent. You need to be quiet. We're up here recording.
God.
So, thank you.
Sorry, Ian's still learning how to time stuff
I told
right.
myself I would work on pushing the buttons this week.
You keep telling yourself that.
Wait. There's a button for how you're performing right now. You should play that one.
Okay.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
I think we all should have that button next to us.
I know, right?
Like the
That's
Staples
actually
button.
a good idea when I mess up.
I think we'll all be playing nothing but sound bites then.
Yeah,
we won't
but
get to talk about anything.
I have one. This is the theme song for the Chiefs after that loss.
World's tiniest violin. Man, we got some heat on that.
Well, let's go through some of these.
All right, do it.
Okay, this is
So in the future, if you hear any of these,
If you hear
and
him.
we're
Yeah.
gonna add more in the
If
future.
Ian,
too.
if Ian hits the button.
Yes.
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs?
Classic.
You kidding me?
Yeah.
Playoffs?
yeah,
I just hope we can win a game.
This one's very popular now.
Duval.
Oh, that's a good one.
You already heard
Yeah,
a couple. You heard the
delete that one.
You heard that one. The Stinks. This one's my personal favorite.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Absolutely.
And then more to come in the future.
You know, once the season starts and we're watching Duval a little bit closer, we're going to be using that hotkey a lot more. So you got to keep it in the rotation. And get a little more Rush Hour, maybe a little King of the Hill in there. You know, all the good stuff.
God damn it, Bobby.
I sent you some good ones.
What's that?
Yeah.
God damn it, Bobby.
Then what the hell, Bobby? What are you thinking?
Oh my god. Yeah, those are gonna be fun.
Yep. All right. But what do you guys think about Super Bowl and the national championship changing?
So I like the idea of them moving it to what's the holiday that's right around the Super Bowl? Is it that most people are off? It's I always see them say it's
President's Day.
Is it President? Well,
I mean, that's like the only one that I would think anybody would be off.
Well, they're always making an argument move it to this weekend. I can't remember what holiday it is. It probably is President's Day, but
President's Day is on this. It's tomorrow.
So
So
who's off for President's Day?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not off for President's Day. I guess you know there's
Martin Luther
federal-
King Jr. Day and Inauguration Day were January 20th. That's the only other
So
thing it could
President's
be.
Day, I
And
guess?
then
Groundhog Day.
we could move it to Lunar New Year, the last Wednesday of January.
Yeah, I don't.
But there really isn't anything other than that. But
National championship.
I honestly think there's too much time in there. It's just too much time. I mean, look at the teams that were on the first bye. They all lost. And all the teams that were playing up to that point won.
Yeah,
So-
the national championship should be the Rose Bowl because everybody's off on New Year's Day.
Yeah.
And everybody wants to watch the Rose Bowl. That's the biggest bowl game, even with the national championship. I think people care more about winning a Rose Bowl still than the national championship because the national championship is not even like a real national championship. It's just ESPN's playoff.
Yep.
Like it's not like an NCAA bowl game, all that stuff like the Rose Bowl is. And it's not the granddaddy. So I think that would be a good idea to make it end on New Year's Day. Everybody's off, all that. Move up the other bowls. I mean, it would kind of suck to lose the New Year's 6 bowls, but you could make those like you could not make the Fiesta Bowl and all those ones.
But you could do that on New Year's Eve day.
Yeah, but
I mean, even if they just moved it to like the following Sunday.
Yeah. Well, and so like the New Year's Eve bowls, they could move, or like there's only one, I guess, the Fiesta Bowl. But I've always thought like the Peach, all those ones, they can just make those like who didn't make it to the playoffs or just out, but big matchups still, and then just have playoff games, not bowl games that are playoff games, because it kind of does suck. I mean,
Playoffs? Don't talk about
it
playoffs.
sucks that you lose that. I mean, you know, if you just slightly miss it, because there's how many FBS teams and there's only 12 spots right now. It's just there's gonna be so many good teams that miss it. Like BYU is a team that should have been in it. They were on the outside. Match them up with Alabama because they were fighting about Alabama should be in it. Put them in like the Fiesta Bowl or the Cotton Bowl or something like that. People would watch it. It would still be a big matchup. Just wouldn't be a playoff game.
Yeah.
You would still win a Cotton Bowl, a prestigious bowl. So that's
Yeah, I think if you're going to have the playoffs, I think the bowls should be separate from the playoffs. Okay, you're in the playoffs, you're not in a bowl. So keep the bowls separate.
Yeah.
And then move everybody else to a different bracket where you're essentially the playoffs. You know, if you're 8th place, you're 8th place. You don't get a bowl, you don't get a participation trophy, you know, you're just 8th place. But everybody else up to that point, you're playing in a bowl game. I think they just need to remove that distinction that the bowl games are part of the playoff.
yeah.
Because then what? You win the Orange Bowl, you win the Cotton Bowl, and then you win the national championship.
Yeah.
It's
So-
just really kind of silly. Yeah.
It was kind of cringy how many bowl games people were like. So for 1 year, you get like 4 trophies if you make it all the way. You
Yeah.
won the Cotton Bowl, the Rose Bowl, or whatever. It's just kind of weird.
You can win majority of those big prestigious bowls in 1 year, whereas other big programs have won them over, you know, a decade of like, you know, every other year maybe going to a New Year's Six bowl. Oh no, you can just win it all in 1 year. You could have one really good year and you can basically get all those bowl
clean
games.
house.
Yeah, and that kind of sucks. Or have 2 good years where you win one national championship, but you somehow get into all those different bowls because they rotate. You win them. I mean, that kind of sucks.
Yeah, it kind of like devalues the history of those bowl games
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
stuff.
if I were, you know, the committee for those bowls, I would have a problem with that.
Yeah, make somehow separate, but keep them together. You know, like you still have playoffs, but you have the bowl games that are still prestigious because there are teams that, you know, maybe they only lose twice or they don't win their conference championship, but they're deserving teams to play on a big stage. Not a national championship or a playoff game, but it would be cool to see them in the Sugar Bowl or something like that. Even like the Sun Bowl in El Paso. I mean, that's an old bowl. And everybody kind of just glazes over it. They didn't care about it. But that's like another one. Holiday Bowl. Make some of those older bowls that used to mean something again. And I think that would be fun.
Yeah.
Or no neutral site, or not neutral sites games, no home games. Just expand it, and all playoff games are at different bowls. And they just rotate. So like, 1 year you get the Potato Bowl, I guess, in the first round. I mean, if they're trying to keep them relevant, and that's what they keep saying, then do that. Don't try to keep the 4 relevant because they're not relevant. People don't care that they're in the Sugar Bowl. It's just you're in the playoffs.
Yeah,
Like, that's all that matters.
I think they need more home games because it kind of takes away from the fans. So you're expecting fans to go to Atlanta, to Pasadena, and then go to Arlington. It's like that's so much to ask of fans, and they're kind of like taking the fans away from it rather than. I feel like there should be home games all the way up until the semis.
Well, and they should move it up a bit because I know the problem is the closer you get to New Year's, students aren't on campus; they're all home. That's why they do the neutral sites, but they don't need to be big bowl games. They could just be neutral site playoff games, or move them up because the FCS playoffs. I mean, those are at home until the championship game. I mean, you know, how many games did North Dakota State or Montana State get to play it in front of the crowd? You know what I mean? That like
Like
That's fun.
Well, they got
That's the
all
difference
of them.
between them, though. They don't have the bowls.
Yeah. Well, in the FCS playoffs is an NCAA sanctioned playoff. It's not controlled by a media partner, which people forget. ESPN controls the playoffs, so guess who's picking who they want in? Big brands. It's stupid.
And they're going to drag it out as long as possible. So
Yeah.
let's increase the number of bowls, which is ridiculous. So when you got 5 and 7 teams getting in, or 6 and 6 teams, that's not a reward. That's not a reward for the fans.
And we can segue over to this topic too with the CBS and YouTube TV and Fubo and Hulu all going. I mean, everything's being controlled sports wise by these big media partners, and it sucks. I was just talking to Dawson. I mean, he asked me how much basketball I watch. I was like, I mean, not very much because there's nothing on. If you look at it on YouTube TV, it's all NBA League Pass, and then it's not even teams in your area. And then sometimes you have to go on HBO or Max. They have games. They have hockey games on there. It's just they've put them on so many different streaming services that it's impossible to find because everybody wants a little piece.
Yeah.
And they dictate it now. So it's why have YouTube TV? I mean, you don't get everything anymore. Even it's eventually going to get with college football games is they're going to have half on streaming, half on linear cable.
Yeah, they just started that this last year with Peacock.
Yep. Boise State Oregon game.
Yep.
That's a big game, and that was an important game.
I think for the nation, because at the time the Ducks were ranked 8th.
Yeah, and then see how important it was towards the end of the season.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Boise State and Oregon benefited from how good Boise State was playing.
State,
and Boise State
they lived on
benefited.
that loss because that was considered a good loss in basketball terms. That's a tier 1 loss. So,
football.
I know, but I mean, comparing it to college basketball,
like
when they had a quad 1, yes.
Yeah.
So they lived on that all season long, and that's what helped them with their ranking and getting that bye. Even though it was a 3-point loss, but still.
Yeah.
And then Oregon got smoked in their game,
Yeah.
which I think was surprising to everybody.
Yeah.
But back to your point, it's just becoming so spread out, and all these conglomerates are just taking a bigger and bigger piece of the pie and doing whatever they want with it, with no consideration to the fans and how it's going to affect them. They're going to have to, get 5 more streaming services just to watch a certain number of games or a certain team or a certain conference.
Why venue sports made sense because it does. You got TNT, ESPN, Fox, all those under one streaming service, and then their partnerships. They could put it on there and it's live games. Mm-hmm. But I also get it. I don't know what Fubo was really trying to get at with suing them, saying it was an antitrust, because then they just sold themselves to Hulu right after. So it's you might as well have just done that.
Could have been a marketing thing. They were just trying to up their value.
They were catfishing.
Yeah.
So
they were trying to put themselves out there. For
all
a
that
buyer.
stuff sucks because it's everybody was trying to get away from cable, and for a minute it worked, but now it's you might as well just have cable, because at least cable you had everything.
Yeah.
Now it's 10 different streaming services, and then with YouTube TV, I mean, the price hikes have gone up so much. I mean, it's at $80, and then they're saying, I'm not sure exactly where the CBS and YouTube TV issue is, if they've resolved it or not, but if it's not resolved and going into March, it's still not a thing, it's blacked out, you lose the Masters, March Madness. That sucks. I mean, and then with Fubo being bought out by Hulu, that you eliminate another live streaming thing, and it's just you go to Hulu, and I don't know what Hulu offers. So
live sports.
I guess I don't know. It sucks, but that's just media partners are king right now. I mean, they're the ones that facilitated all this conference realignment too. They wanted certain teams in certain conferences that they had media deals with. I mean, why do you think Texas and Oklahoma went to the SEC? Because ESPN is the sole partner of the SEC. 2 bigger brands that are next to them they could pull over, and then it caused all this stuff. So it sucks. I mean, that's the same thing with the Pac-12 trying to rebuild and stuff. It's all based off media markets and brands, because they want to see who the media partners want in the conference, not about who makes sense to be in the conference. So,
yeah, I agree. There's something to be said for having regional, what's the word that I'm looking for?
Conferences?
Regional conferences and regional rivalries. Yeah, as opposed to, Cal having a rivalry with Rutgers. that's cross country. You can't build a rivalry like that.
Yeah, that's almost corner to corner.
Yeah.
I guess if you're saying East versus West, I guess I don't know, but that's not really. Nobody cares about that game though. That's
Someone should step in and just make it like not exactly like the NFL, but just re-division everything.
They're trying to
based off of quadrant.
And I guess there actually was something. I don't know. Can you look it up, Ian? There was something with another governance coming in for like NIL and kind of not a part. It's part of the NCAA, but it's like gonna start governing a lot of that stuff. So look up NIL NCAA and see what comes up. You might have to do a little digging. I can't remember.
It's a research on the fly.
But no, people keep saying, we need a commissioner, and they keep going back to Nick Saban. They're like, because he's such a good coach and he's not biased. We're not biased. Remember,
are you kidding me?
Complaining when Alabama didn't get in 2 years. He complained so hard they kept Florida State out, and then last year he complained so hard, and he's not even the coach, and they didn't get in. But he's like, I just if we're going off strength of schedule, they play in the SEC. Yeah, but they lost to Oklahoma. It was horrible.
Yeah.
So it's like you can't argue all this. And then they lost to Michigan in their bowl game.
Okay,
so
but think about this. Did Roger Goodell play football? Maybe in college, maybe in high school. But he's a lawyer.
Yeah.
What about the basketball commissioner? Did he play basketball?
No, he's just a vampire.
Yeah. Same with baseball.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a coach, former coach, a former player to be a commissioner. What you need is somebody that understands the law and understands what works best for everybody.
And is not biased.
Exactly. If you're going to get a coach or a former player, there's going to be bias there.
Yeah.
So that's not going to work for anybody.
I mean, Chris Peterson would be a good one.
I would say Chris Peterson, though, because he's widely recognized as somebody that is, right now he's a sportscaster.
He's really respected, too.
Very respected.
He's played on both ends, group of five, and he's played on Power Five, and he's taken both of them really far, and he understands the being at a school like Boise State, what the media and everybody's against you, other than like towards the end when they were at their peak and they were the darling. But same thing with Washington. I mean, Washington, they've always been a good football team, but like they're not respected. Like they're not gonna get the benefit of the doubt as like a Michigan or an Ohio State is. So even though he was in a Power Five at that time, he still had to deal with getting to where he was. So I think he's got it from both angles. Whereas Nick Saban was at the top program for how many years, and he's gonna have bias for the SEC.
And he's still showing his bias by comments that he makes on TV.
ESPN, Pat McAfee, all those shows, that's all ESPN. They control the SEC's media rights and all that. Of course, there's bias there.
Maybe it should be Pat McAfee because he has no bias. He just loves everybody.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they'll poach Roger Goodell or something.
Maybe your boy Herb Streak.
Oh God, no! God, no.
He's just as bad.
Oh yeah, I think he might be even worse now that Saban's on game day.
Right.
I don't know.
It's a little ridiculous. I don't even watch that show anymore.
I don't really think anybody does.
So much homerism and just bias. Yeah. And of course, we're on the West Coast and small market right now. Dawson's a bandwagoner, so we can't really count on him. But from the things that we see, there needs to be some sort of regulation, and there needs to be some sort of direction given from a top source to regulate all these conference realignments, all this NIL deal.
And tell the media partners you're a media partner. You're not a dictator of what conferences and matchups should be.
Right. It's like we will tell you what you can have.
They blew up.
And you will be lucky if you get to show anything.
Yeah, they blew up the Pac-12 because they're saying there's no appetite for just a West Coast dominant conference because they need more time zones. What do you?
And part of that was the commissioner, though, for
conference.
not really agreeing to what they had or what they could get, being too greedy as well.
Yeah. Well, and the Pac-12 kind of screwed themselves because they were so uppity about stuff for so long that they couldn't come together to add teams. They could have added, when they added Utah, they could have added TCU. That's a Texas market. They could have added BYU if they let the religious bias go away. Boise State. I mean, there's a lot of schools that were still coming up and were good. I mean, could you imagine every year BYU was good for the last decade? Imagine them Oregon, BYU. Utah, BYU. That's the Holy War.
The Holy War,
Boise
that is
State,
a rivalry that anybody, I think, would want to have.
Yeah. I mean, so it's like those would have been good games in the West, and people would have wanted to watch them, and it would have been a stronger conference. You know, you could say, hey, we're stronger than the Big 12. I mean, they only have Oklahoma, really. I mean, they were all up and down, and you wouldn't have given them TCU. So TCU being in the Pac-12 would have been a national champion runner-up in the Pac-12 conference.
But part
not
of their
the Big 12.
Part of the problem was they pigeonholed themselves by sticking to their like-mindedness with other schools because they want research facilities and schools like that. Whereas, say, Boise State wasn't quite to that degree yet with their research capabilities. They're all developing them. But if you're looking at a nationally known sports program, football program, you couldn't go wrong. But by sticking to their decree of research capabilities, they kind of hurt themselves, and they're really put themselves in a hole. And once it went under, they left themselves basically destitute.
But
and rebuilding by adding Boise State, San Diego State, Utah State, Fresno State.
They didn't want having schools that weren't at their level. But isn't the term raising tide raises all ships or whatever?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that eventually have with that having that brand prestige, being on bigger networks, you getting more money? How much faster could they have gone to research institutes, built up their programs?
Oh, of course.
I mean, San Diego State's a dominant basketball program. Put them in the Pac-12 all those years too.
Yeah.
You would, Fresno State, they've been good at football for up and down, but they have always been consistent. They're always consistent with Boise State, Oregon rivalry, a BYU Oregon Boise State rivalry, TCU Boise State rivalry. I mean, those are all could have been built into one conference, and then you have all these. I'm sure a San Diego State, USC, Fresno State, USC, that kind of stuff could have been built up.
Well, think about the region that we're in. You could have had Washington, Oregon State, Washington State, Cal, Stanford.
Yeah.
Just here in the Pacific Northwest.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I think all the schools that they brought in, 10, how many years ago would this have been? 10, 12 years ago? Mm-hmm. Where would they be now? Where would Boise State's stadium be now? Would San Diego State, if they had made it to the national championship in basketball, would they have won it because they would have gotten better recruits at that point? All things TCU, I mean, could they have won the national? I mean, they played a pretty good Georgia team.
That is pretty crazy to think that a Mountain West San Diego State made it all the way to the national championship.
Yeah,
that is pretty crazy.
Got smoked by UConn. Have you guys seen UConn's basketball coach, Hurley? Can't remember his first name. Dan Hurley. Yeah, man, people do not like him because he's just a shit arrogant talker. Yeah. I think he was like pointing at his finger. He's like 2 rings or something like that. Like fans just cannot stand him, but he looks fucking pompous and annoying. But I was also listening to something. People were saying that like there's something with basketball coaches and college basketball where at a certain point they just don't give a shit. They just say whatever the hell they want. And I don't know, man. Maybe I don't watch enough college basketball because there's so many games to understand why. But maybe it's just because there's so many games and
I think once you reach that level of 500-600 wins.
Yeah.
I've already proven my point. I can say whatever the hell I want. They're not going to do anything. And you guys are going to have to accept it and live with it. So,
like Bobby Knight,
Bobby Knight was always that way.
I'll throw a fucking chair out onto the court and not even get a fine.
God,
that guy was crazy.
I don't watch too much women's basketball because I don't feel like it's even on that much, like college basketball as much, because the men's side dominates the TV.
You'll find it on ESPNU.
Yeah, and you might not even have the channel, but and I like LSU and football and basketball and all that stuff too. But their women's basketball coach, I cannot stand her. She's the most toxic coach. And you can see even her players, just their face when she's like slapping clipboards and stuff like that. They're just like over it because like that's just how she is. I don't understand why that's just because you're good, you're allowed to act like a fool. That shouldn't be allowed.
Well, that's kind of their persona. Probably get fired up. I don't know, fire themselves up that way.
And the schools aren't going to discipline them because if they have that many wins and they have that much prestige around them, they're going to be like, yeah, we're fine with it.
Yeah,
we accept it.
I guess.
Okay. What do you guys think about Aaron Rodgers being told that he can't be on the Pat McAfee show?
I think, yeah, because I think Rodgers is checked out, honestly, from NFL.
Yeah.
You can kind of tell.
I think so too.
I think he should just go into maybe making his own podcast and talk about his weird, freaky shit that he does anyway.
Maybe he should start making his own ayahuasca
Yeah.
brand.
But it's similar. I was talking to Ian about this. Deion Sanders, he's going to do like a talk show while he's the head coach at Colorado. I feel like college coaches have so much shit they got to negotiate freaking contracts, basically, NIL deals and all this stuff, recruit, coach. How do you have time to do that?
Because you're
It's
essentially
ridiculous.
the recruiter. You don't have the personnel like you do with the NFL because you're essentially the lead recruiter.
Wasn't he saying like his show is part of his recruiting process?
I think he uses
probably.
his name as well. He wants kids to come to him so he doesn't have to leave the building. And I think during recruiting trips, he doesn't. I think he makes them come to him.
Sorry,
That's for later.
Yeah, I feel like his name is his biggest brand to get people to go to Colorado, and that's about it.
Yeah. Well, this is going to be his defining year. He's going to have to
I think
prove
so.
that he's who he is. He's him because everybody thinks he's him.
He is who he is.
Without his sons and his adopted son.
Yeah, Travis Hunter.
King both ways.
Who?
I didn't see him during the Super Bowl. Did you guys?
No, I'm surprised.
Yeah, I know.
Speaking of Hunter, he's designated as a
Cornerback.
for the combine.
Yeah, I thought he wasn't going to give in.
But is that just going to be for the combine? Or
I mean, a team should be smart enough to be like, well, we didn't see you as a receiver. If he played as many
But
snaps
they
as
know
he
how
did
he
all
was
game,
a receiver. He was mediocre. How was he as a cornerback? He was mediocre.
yeah.
He wasn't the leader in either category.
I don't know that whole thing. He's going to get a wake up call when he gets to the NFL.
I think people are going to give him a wake-up call.
Hopefully.
they're going to make it a point.
Yeah.
Well, it's
okay, let's see, Mr. Heisman, what you can do.
It's kind of like the same thing as what happened to Caleb Williams. He was kind of cocky and arrogant, and
Yep.
we all know how that went.
Yeah. Maybe he'll with his new head coach he'll do better. I also think that franchise is just kind of dog shit right now, just over top to bottom. And that sucks though. That's the thing. And the whole Deion Sanders, vouching for where Shador needs to go. You can't pick where they're going to go because you don't want them to go to a crappy franchise where they're not going to have all these elite talent around them and make it easy. That's what happens.
Well, I think they can because how many players in the past have said, "I'm not going there"?
Well,
Eli
no,
Manning.
they can,
Trevor
but
Lawrence.
they shouldn't be allowed to. That's the thing. That's what's annoying.
Well, no, of course they shouldn't be allowed to, but they do.
It's so stupid because you think a lot of these. You think Joe Burrow wanted to go to the Bengals? Probably not. I mean, they weren't very good. I mean, he got Jamar Chase the next year, but it's stupid. The team Baker Mayfield to the Browns. You think he wanted to go there? No.
I think a lot of players are that way. They want to help turn the team around.
Yeah.
They don't want to go to a winner. I mean,
Where
I
it's
don't think they
already
care,
easy.
but I think a lot of players are like that way. Well, I'm going to be part of the solution. not
Prove
part of the
themselves.
problem. Yeah.
Well, and then the announcers say they're part of the problem when they're like, well, they have nobody. They literally don't have any wide receivers. And they're like, they have no line, and they're like, well, it's his fault he got sacked. It's like, well, his lines got COVID and they've been out for like 3 weeks. No, he sucks. They need to trade him. Then they trade him to a team with a full line, and they're like, oh wow, look how good he is. He's the best quarterback we've ever seen. Generational. Yeah, the media spins everything, but
So I guess we don't have a problem with Aaron Rodgers.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
Side
that
note,
kind of just
side note.
floated over, huh?
But Aaron, I don't know, man. I liked Aaron Rodgers for a long time. I think it was hilarious his first play when he first went to the Jets. You see him running out with the flag in the first play.
That was a highlight.
Yeah, I liked him, but he's just his antics are just, he just says a lot of stupid stuff that's annoying. Like, you can have your own opinion, that's fine, but he's got the personality that he thinks he's so much smarter than everybody, and that what he says is go. I mean, who was he beefing with? The late show, what's his name?
Was it Kimmel?
Yes. I mean, they were beefing with each other because Rodgers was like saying like he'll be on the Epstein list and all that stuff. And he was pissed off. He was like, don't say that kind of stuff, like stupid shit, because he just thinks he can say whatever he wants because he thinks he's smart. I think it's because he went to Cal. He thinks that he's just a step above everybody, but he's just, I don't know. His takes are annoying. Can't stand that motherfucker.
You want him to make his own podcast, is what you said?
Yeah.
So you can call him up.
He might as well. I mean, without ass he's been playing, he might as well make his own podcast and be like Paul George. Just be ass, and everybody knows it's because of your podcast. So at least you can blame it on that instead of just being ass and having ass takes.
Speaking of highlights, somebody posted something about the Chiefs highlights for the Super Bowl, and they showed the coin toss. And that was it.
Yeah. Oh man,
Was that right? Oh god.
God, that whole beginning with how the game ended, and then they got so blown out and it was so bad. At the beginning with the coin toss, that first that big play that was, penalty. I was like, fuck, it's gonna be one of those games. It's already going in that direction. You would have never thought it would have gone where it went. I mean, they were all having time. What's his name though? On the Chiefs had a good game though. Who's their receiver? Their rookie Worthy.
Yeah, Worthy.
Yeah, he was doing good. He was having a good game.
So, what do you guys think about Kellen Moore as the New Orleans Saints head coach?
I just have to say this. He did much better than
Duval.
Yeah, his press conference.
Oh, that one was a mess up. Is this gonna play over and over? I think he did. He did solid. He was like kind of middle of the road for sure, but solid press conference.
Yeah, I like to see a little bit of his personality. He's just kind of joking around and making some faces and stuff. He said it a lot, typical coach speak.
Also, he's
excited to be there.
Everything's
tremendous.
He's sounded like that since college, though.
Yeah, too, so. Exactly. He has not changed one bit. So
yeah, I agree.
Just his haircut.
It's just gotten a little darker.
I want him to have that skater boy hair again.
Wait, Dawson, when you heard he got the head coach job, were you steaming because of the Oregon losses?
No,
I hate that guy.
No, I'm excited for him. I think out of all the teams that he could have went to, I think the Saints is probably the best for him because I feel like they're more of a franchise that's like more understanding. Like they're just not going to shit can him if he doesn't do good his first year. They're just going to build off a bit because they got to draft a lot of players anyway. They got to not this upcoming season, but probably the season after. They got to figure out what they're going to do with Carr because I mean he's been playing since Kellen Moore was in college.
Yeah, they played
against Yeah, he brought that up a couple of times. Yeah, we played a couple of games and somebody showed the scores like 57-7.
Yeah. So I mean, like that franchise just has a lot to build on, and I think Kellen Moore can definitely turn around in the years to come, kind of like a Dan Campbell way, like the first year they do a little better, and then.
But does he got that fire like Dan Campbell?
I don't
know. He's unique.
I don't think he's going to be that kind of a coach. I think he's going to be more X's and O's. Let's talk about this, kind of the Chris Peterson way, which he learned from his dad.
Yeah.
Who knows what his dad was like, but I think under those coaches like McCarthy, he struggled a little bit because of their personalities, but I think he's just going to be kind of like middle of the road, steady. I was watching an interview with him on a Louisiana show, and they were asking him how he was going to be. We see Kellen how you are now. Do you have that fire in you if you need to get on somebody? He's like, well, I like to be even keeled, but if something has to be done, something has to be said, then we'll go from there.
I've just never seen any of that from him, like playing, coaching.
But here's the thing. So you know how the Miami head coach, he tries to be one of the dudes and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And I think that does work to a point, but I think where it falls short for him is because he doesn't have the respect as like Kellen. I mean, Kellen Moore was one of the best college quarterbacks of all time. He's a very good, smart quarterback. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's talking about. He's been in multiple positions, and every spot he has been at, like with the Cowboys, he helped Dak Prescott like really open up and improve. Who else was it? It was saying that he's the reason that he completely had a complete.
Well, as soon as he got the Cowboys, he was a quarterback coach, and he improved Dak.
Yeah,
immensely. I mean, that season he did really well. But then when you run into head coaching problems and you kind of butt heads, who wants, certain things called, then it's going to affect it a little bit.
Yeah.
I think Sirianni was a little more hands off with him, other than, that one deep pass that he threw to put him up 24-0. I was reading that he just told him, no, call it. So
Yeah. Yeah, no, and I mean, you see what first year with Saquon did. So he knows how to run an offense, and I mean that's like how they did it back in Boise State. I think he has a lot of that style.
Yeah.
He knows, because when you're lacking in certain areas, you got to make up for it, and he looks like he's calling it like how they did when he was a quarterback at Boise State.
a lot of motion, a lot of run, pass.
Yeah, so it shows that his coaching, he's not just a quarterback guy. He can change, with the running back, he can change the whole thing. And so I think that shows that he knows what he's doing. Whereas some people maybe have strength other places. He's offensively, he's got a lot of strength there.
Yeah. So I'm very excited to watch New Orleans this year to see how he does and see how what other coaches he picks up. But one thing that I did notice this week is that the former safety Gerald Alexander from Boise State, he got picked up by the Steelers. So
Nice.
Okay.
yeah,
Nice.
defensive back coach. So hopefully he'll whip those guys into shape.
Okay.
So I'm excited about that.
So did you guys see any news on Kellen Moore signing that Chargers head coach he coached under as
Staley.
his DC? Yeah,
Stanley is OC or DC,
or
right?
DC, yeah.
What do you know about that, Ian?
Yeah.
I heard
don't
that
know.
it was an option.
Yeah, I just
Oh,
heard that
it's
as a
just an
rumor. I
option?
didn't
Yeah.
know
Oh.
if that was a for sure.
Yeah, I
thing.
didn't know if it was.
Yeah, I know that they talked about it. So
I was gonna say that'd be kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, being a coach or his boss basically, and then swapping roles.
well, I mean, think about it. I mean, he's so young that he's coaching people that he used to play against Derek Carr or with. You're coaching like when he was with the Cowboys. You're the head coach of Dak Prescott that you were backup quarterback to.
Yeah.
And now you're like his OC. You're telling him what to do.
I mean, he coached what's his name, Andy Dalton, and he beat him in the Fiesta Bowl.
Yeah.
So
It's just my one thing is I don't know if he's gonna win the locker room or the guys around him. But we'll see. I also heard he was gonna call the plays too.
Oh, he's going to be OC?
That's what I heard. He was calling the plays.
Wow.
he's gonna have an OC, but he's gonna be the one calling the
Maybe.
plays.
Yeah.
Co-OC?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Maybe
we'll see.
just to bring somebody into the system and show him how he wants it done,
And then he
by
can
calling
take
the plays.
over.
Yeah, just like a intern or just somebody to be there with him to learn the system.
Just bring his brother in.
Yeah,
Kirby.
he did mention
Yeah.
Kirby in his press conference that he was a head coach at Missouri or OC at Missouri and was doing well. So
Oh, his brother coaches too?
Kirby, yeah, he's the OC at Missouri.
Where did he go to Boise State or?
Yeah, he was a wide receiver.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, dang! I didn't even know he had a brother.
yeah, he's actually bigger.
That was the funny thing. Yeah. He should have been he had the quarterback build.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah.
Kellen didn't have much of a build for anything. Maybe the kicker or the placeholder. But
Water boy.
yeah.
All right. Any more NFL topics you guys want to talk about?
I don't think there's much going on right now other than that. So
for sure. Okay, we can move on to other stuff. This one's we have the Canelo fight. You guys want to talk about that?
Yeah, why don't you start us off with that? Because I think you know the most about that.
And by most, I still don't have the best understanding of.
He's our expert.
of things. Yeah.
Our expert at not knowing
our-
anything.
He's our ex.
Okay, so from what I understand,
expert.
it's the obviously it's a super middleweight fight, 168 pounds, and it's for undisputed. So he would have all the belts, or whoever wins has all the belts, and this would be his second time being undisputed at this weight class. So I think that's the big thing going for this fight. It's not the biggest name. It's not a Crawford or a
What do you know
I feel
about
weird
William
saying this
Skull?
about Jake Paul. I don't know. I didn't know him until this.
Yeah,
until this.
A lot of the people that I was trying to listen to stuff about it, and a lot of people are like, I don't even know if I've watched any of his fights or anything. So that's what sucks with boxing is they do kind of want to fight certain people that they can just pad their record.
It's so under the radar now compared to what it used to be. I mean, boxing used to be the big thing on Saturdays. All the big matches were there, and it was so popular, but it's just so under the radar now.
So here's the other thing I was looking at.
But Canelo, I did watch like a couple of Canelo Canelo's first couple of fights, and he's pretty good. He's a really good boxer.
Oh yeah, he's sick.
Apparently,
And for anybody, since we don't have cameras yet, but our producer Ian looks like Canelo.
yeah,
Just a very like if there was like a D movie that had no budget, he would be it.
not
that's cold.
So the dollar store version, but if that product was like discounted.
yeah.
No, so
Half off.
What?
Apparently, so from what I read, he previously had this belt, Canelo. I think it's the IBF. But then it got stripped because he fought someone else instead of the mandatory, which was Skull.
Oh, okay.
But now he's fighting him. I think that's how it is. It's like
He lost the title by the IBF for failing to satisfy necessary defense criteria against Skull, the top contender.
yeah.
He'd gone without the IBF belt since his unification, hence this defeat was the first time. So he had unified them back in September of 22.
Yeah, and then lost it last year, right?
Yep. So now he's going to attempt it again, May 3rd.
See, that's the only thing I feel like is going for this fight is undisputed.
Yeah.
Even though I think he destroys Crawford, that's still a more entertaining fight, or at least a sell.
Do you like how they were saying that he used the whole Jake Paul thing to leverage and he got a 4-fight deal, and now people are like, man, he played Jake Paul because everybody was hyped up like, oh shit, he's gonna fight Canelo. Now anybody that Jake Paul fights is gonna be a step down from Canelo. So the hype, he took all the hype and ran away with it, and now Jake Paul is just like sitting there.
I just can't even believe how Jake Paul went from fighting nobodies to now everybody's talking about him fighting one of the best fighters in boxing. And it's like, that's kind of a slap in the face to all these
everybody
other
else?
people that have worked their whole lives just to be, fighting against these top names. So I just feel like it's kind of detrimental to boxing.
It's like the boxing version of the UFC. It's just whoever's the hype getting the fights, not who deserves it or who's been doing it. It's like a Dana White choosing, oh, well, I want him to fight for the title. It's like, well, what about all these other people that should be fighting for the title? Yeah, once again, it's just like a media craze thing, and that sucks. But I think Canelo, there was no intent for him to fight it. I think he just wanted to steal that hype, get that money, and if he did fight him, he knew it would be over. There's no competition there.
It's kind of like the same thing with the Chiefs with the Jake Paul thing. It's like you just want him to get his ass kicked so bad,
Yes.
I was so disappointed in that Tyson fight. It's like, good Lord, he did more damage to his gloves by biting him than he did.
What about his cheeks?
That whole thing was just so.
Cheeks.
It was.
Did you see that video?
Man.
Oh, it's so funny. It was like his son interviewing him before the fight, and he's like
that's
talking to him.
right.
He's like, "I love you, Dad," and then he walks away, gives him a kiss, and turns around, his ass cheeks, and the camera was like zooming into it.
God. Yeah, that's those kinds of things are what make me think that the whole fight was just a publicity thing.
It was
for money. I mean, because Tyson made a bunch of money, but how much money does he need to make? Hasn't he made plenty of money over?
He lost it all.
Yeah.
Did he really?
He got stripped. Yeah.
Plus, he could always use more money.
That's true. Leave it.
He had to declare bankruptcy.
Man,
Why do you think he started doing the Hangover?
Oh yeah.
Doesn't he have a pretty popular podcast too now?
Yeah, that hot boxing one or whatever.
Where they just do mushrooms.
You can just talk like this the whole time.
Have you seen the video of when Mike Tyson meets Hasbulla and he thinks he's a little kid?
Doesn't he kiss him a bunch?
Yeah.
He's all, I thought that was a baby. Yeah.
It's a grown ass adult. Well,
He's all, no, he's 23.
Oh my god, man! I drove by a house that had a cutout of Hasbulla in a suit in their front window.
Life size?
Yeah, it might as well have been life size. Probably the same height. It might have been taller.
Or like off of a Hangover when he's all, hold on, this is my favorite part. This is my favorite part. And then he's all, bang.
Oh god.
Yeah.
All right.
What do we got next?
We got here.
This is what happens when there's really nothing going on.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
We went over this. I know. Let's see.
Do we want to talk about NBA at all?
That's what it was. Justin, your boy, your dunking boy. You want to talk about the dunker?
Yeah. Let's talk
Mac?
some NBA. Yeah, the dunk contest, Mac McClung. It's like such a weird name to say.
So I'm going to be honest. I did not even know that any of this was going on. I completely forgot that it was NBA All-Star Weekend. It used to be such a big deal, and now it's like totally forgettable.
It's because they don't try. I mean, like, there's a video. I wonder if you could pull it up and play it of Paul George talking about the All-Star. He was like complaining that the people that didn't make the All-Star Weekend, they get a week of rest, like a vacation. And he's like, and then we got to go out there and play. Bro, you're in the All-Star
Who freaking
game.
who? Yeah.
You're getting paid for it, and you're one of the best in the league, and you're going to complain about it. He's like, yeah, and then he's like, why go hard when basically nobody else is going hard?
See, that's the thing that is sad, because all these All-Star games used to be so good, and used to be, winning them was a badge of honor.
Yeah, like meant something.
Baseball All-Stars, I mean, they went really hard. And then the football games, they were generally pretty good, and it was fun to see all these, players playing together. But now I think everybody's just so, we're buddy, but we also, we're making so much money, and we want to do so much less for it.
Did you find the
It's
video?
just sad.
Yeah. I think this is it. Is it on podcast? His podcast?
Yeah. He said it on his podcast. Play what he said.
Do the play?
He says, what are your thoughts on the new changes to the All-Star game? Is it time to wrap it up completely?
You know what? Here's we already had a hard time with one game. How are we going to have 3 games, three All-Star games? Like, we had hard enough time trying to get everyone to compete at a high level playing in one game.
Right.
So I just don't understand how, I guess it's a shorter number to play to. So I guess that's the competition. That's the competitive part about it. It's competing to get to that. I think it's 40 or something like that. But yeah, I don't like the format. If we're not going to go out and compete and be competitive, then I think it's still just wasting time. But I don't know. That's just my take on it. I would love to see it get to a competitive.
NBA doing too much, man.
No, that's not actually the one.
I was going to say, he actually made a point with that one.
Yeah, no, there's...
The NBA's doing too much. What are they doing? I think they're just doing less and less.
Well, the crazy thing is about NBA is that you can watch a regular season NBA game, and then you can turn around and watch the All-Star game, and you can notice no difference. Like, the NBA regular season games are just as bad as the All-Star games. Like, nobody tries at all anymore.
Yeah, that's sad. And that's one of the reasons why I don't watch anymore.
I seen a clip of the Lakers, and they were all just trying to shoot a three, missing opportunities, and then LeBron just grabs the ball and runs right up through the middle and dunks it, and everybody's like, yay! But it was like, that was so fucking stupid. It's and like you're supposed to be the best. You're supposed to be pros, and this is what's happening.
That's how it's scripted now. It's all WWE style.
Yeah.
It's like, nope.
Yeah.
LeBron's got to come in and dunk. That's how he's going to save us. which surprises me why they went and got Doncic.
But it's just so like, it's like the games don't mean anything, and nobody's trying like how it used to be. Like, it used to be crazy. Like, everybody going hard.
Are you kidding me? The basketball used to be just brutal to watch, and it was fun because everybody was competing, and everybody wanted to be the best team and the best player on the best team.
But it kind of goes back to what you said, Sean, is everybody's just buddy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're all just friends. There's no like hatred or, like rivalry.
I think
in NBA.
There is still some of that in NFL. Baseball is probably where you get most of it. In hockey, we're not going to talk about hockey because that's just fights waiting to happen.
Right.
But, I mean, that's what makes sports is the competitiveness. And what makes you want to cheer for a team or cheer for a player is because they're going to go out and try their hardest to beat the best of the best. So, basketball, I can't watch it.
Yeah, I can watch college basketball, though, because it still is
I found that clip.
Similar to how basketball used to be.
If you give me 2 TVs and you put an NBA game on one side and you put WNBA on the other side, 60-40 that I'm watching WNBA.
Yeah.
Here it is. Here's that clip.
people just look at the All-Star break. It's like, damn, I get time to chill. Like, I get time to get a breather, get a break, get a rest. And then you throw the All-Star game in there midway, and then you watching everybody around you enjoy vacation and enjoying off time. And you like, I still gotta, like, I gotta go hard for this game. I don't mind if playing hard and putting on a show, but like, it's everybody's got to do it.
Who was that?
That was Paul George. He was basically complaining that the people that aren't playing in the All-Star game, they get to do vacations and all that stuff, you know. And he, like, from his point of view, he gets to see all, like, these people don't have to, like, try because they're not in it, but I still got to try. And then he's like,
But
basically nobody else is trying, so why should I try?
But that should be the privilege of being an all-star.
Yeah, I
mean, if you don't want the honor,
then
then just say, no, I don't want the honor. And somebody else that maybe is sitting at home that would rather be playing, that would rather be recognized as an all-star, let them have it.
A lot of the problems is these massive contracts, and a lot of it's guaranteed. So it doesn't matter if your team's winning or losing. They're still getting paid.
Yep.
They've talked about, you know, maybe they should make it, they're like a production clause. You got to...
Performance?
You got to maybe make the All-Star game. You got to have this many percentage of, like, threes made or game highs or whatever. You can't just come in and be like, oh, I'm going to sit this game out for load management.
But I think a lot of that will affect other players too. It's like, well, either you give me this much guaranteed or I'm going to go somewhere else. And so teams are just like,
I'm sure there's plenty of European players that will come over and play. They're the ones that are actually starting to be the dominant ones in the league. So maybe, all right, well, you want to go get your money in college. Stay in college forever. I don't care. But we're just going to go get these people that want to play. I mean, that's the problem is there are still players that will play, but start making it a point. I mean, all this complaining and trade clause and stuff. And also they're really short contracts too. It's like 2 years or 1 year contracts and they can go wherever. Mm-hmm. Make them a little longer. I mean, it's stupid. It's like once they get out of their rookie contract, they have so much power. And I mean, there's just no loyalty. And I was saying it before. I think LeBron started a lot of it because he jumped and created a super team, and ever since then, that's just the thing now.
Yeah, but I mean, the Celtics were kind of the first ones to start that with the big three. With that big guy, Kevin Garnett and Allen and all them. They were kind of the first ones to do it.
But they lost to the Lakers.
No, they beat the Lakers in 2007 or with the 2008 finals or something like that.
Didn't the Lakers beat them in 2009 or 10 right after that?
No, they played the Magic.
Wasn't the Magic really?
Yeah, I think so. But I know the Celtics won the first one, but I think they might, yeah.
Yeah, they played. I remember they played twice, and yeah, Celtics and Lakers, because they were always going back and forth. I remember when the Lakers beat them, the Celtics had Rajon Rondo. I remember that because he was...
Wasn't that with Paul Pierce?
Yeah. PG, Kevin Garnett, and Ray Allen. Those were like the big three, and like...
Yeah.
I can't remember when they all got together. I think it was like...
What years was that? I can clarify.
I think
it was the 2007 championship or...
Yeah. So the 2008 championship, Boston Celtics won. 2009... Oh, wait, no. 2009, that was against the Magic. The Lakers won. And then the Lakers won the next year against Boston, 2010.
Yeah. And that was... The 2010 one was with Rajon Rondo. Because I remember watching those finals, and it was crazy. Because they were just going back and forth. Back when... I don't know, man. The finals just don't hit the same like they did back when you have these teams with like Kobe and Kevin Garnett.
Almost all championships nowadays kind of don't really feel the same. I would say all except for baseball. Baseball's still pretty, like it means something, but all these other sports, I don't know. I've like checked out. It's not as entertaining as it used to be. Yeah, I don't know if it's just because I've gotten older or sports have changed or.
And that's the thing is, so I think with college football is the regular season is still such a big deal because it matters. NFL, they keep adding games. It's starting to not matter as much. NBA has so many games. It doesn't really matter as much. MLB, same thing. Even hockey, I mean, those leagues were really like playoff and championship leagues where that's when people cared. But now they're starting to be like, people don't even care about that. So it's weird. I don't know. Maybe you got to switch it to where you shorten it to where the regular season matters in those leagues again, and then maybe that'll translate over.
I think a lot of when there's overlap, like between NBA and MLB, is when people start getting, viewership starts going down because all the people that are waiting for baseball, as soon as that starts coming on, then they're not watching basketball anymore. And then through the summer, it's just nothing but baseball. But then in the fall, you got college football. You got NFL, which are still kings in this country.
Yeah.
So pretty much everything else just gets pushed to the side, and it's either recorded or watched on Sports Center. But that's the only time you're going to watch it. Otherwise, you're watching football nonstop. And we're in the majority as well here, so that's where our focus is.
When do the Winter Olympics come back? Because I was thinking about
next year, next February.
You got December, right? January, December,
February.
Oh, it's in February.
Yeah, second week.
February you'll have
week
basketball. You'll have college basketball. You'll have NBA. You'll still have a little bit of the NFL with the Super Bowl, the Olympics. I mean, that's so much stuff all on TV at once. And I mean, unless you're a sports sicko, I don't know how much you're watching all that.
Whenever the Olympics are on, we watch a crap ton of it. That's pretty much all we watched. When the Summer Olympics were on, it was on constantly.
Yeah, Ian and I were just talking about we were like, we should cover some skateboarding. And I was like, yeah, if we were doing this earlier when the Summer Olympics were on, they added skateboarding in. And I watched a couple of those. I mean, skate competitions are fun to watch.
Break dancing.
Oh, yeah. What's her name? Shogun or Raygun?
Raygun. Come on now. We need to have a podcast.
We're hating
just to Raygun.
I heard they're adding lacrosse to the Summer Olympics.
Are they?
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. It's a little more of like it's a smaller version of it, like less players. I think that's pretty cool though. I think the LA Olympics is when they're gonna have it. They added surfing to the Summer Olympics, which makes sense.
But what's the deal with adding all these extra sports? Why?
Because I think people don't watch some of the other ones. I don't know. I don't even what are the.
But
big
who's going to
Summer
turn into
Olympics?
watch breakdancing? Come on.
They don't even use real guns for like the gun shooting
that's
stuff
the target,
anymore.
Yeah, the target shooting. Yeah.
Have you
Which
seen
is
real
kinda sad.
breakdancing though?
But that's
Real
the thing.
breakdancing
So,
is great.
the Summer Olympics, I believe the Winter Olympics do the same thing. Each Olympic Games they'll have like honorary, competitions where it's like they bring them in for that one, and if they do well, then they can add them.
Yeah, they're doing that with this next summer one in LA. What are they bringing back?
They're bringing.
Were they talking about baseball?
Oh yeah, I've heard a little bit
No,
about
it was
baseball.
something else.
I think lacrosse is one of the honorary ones. So I know skateboarding was a couple years ago. It stayed because it did well.
I think it was baseball that they were talking about bringing back.
Yeah, no, it's.
What sport is coming back? Let's see. Surfing, skateboarding, sport, climbing, returning sports. 3x3 basketball.
Oh, yeah. 3-on-3.
Artistic swimming. I don't know what that is.
Well, that's when they're all, the synchronized swimming.
Oh, like in Austin Powers.
So, you guys remember watching the X Games when that was big?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Flag football.
There was
I've seen
actually 1 year I had to go to Glenwood Springs in Colorado, and it wasn't too far from Aspen. So the guys that I went there with for work, we decided to drive up to Aspen, and they were doing some night ski jumps. And it was pretty cool because they had a crap ton of crowds out there. They had,
Oh, you went to it?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dang, that's cool.
It was just on a night off. And I think we were done for the week. And so it was like a Friday night, and we drove up to Aspen, which wasn't too far. And we got to watch some of the light ski jumps. But I mean, there's lights and music.
That's awesome.
Is that when you got the sweater?
Yeah.
Didn't
that was
the Winter Olympics,
yeah,
right?
that was
In
the
Salt Lake?
Winter Olympics. But no, X Games is when I went up
X
there.
Games.
Yeah.
X Games. Yeah, sorry, I didn't.
No, I went up there for this company, and they sent 3 of us up there for a week to help out. But it was close to Aspen, so yeah, we got to go up there and watch some X Games.
What about the Winter Olympics in Salt Lake?
Yeah.
Did you do the same thing for that? Help
No, I got free tickets for that, and because the company was giving them out, and it was close to us, so I took the other 2 kids down there and stayed with my mom, and we went to cross country relay. But it was pretty cool. Everybody's we had to take a bus from the parking lot to get to the venue.
What venue was it?
It was just
Rice Eccles?
No,
it was a ski resort probably.
Oh,
it was up in Vail, or not Vail, but Park City. But no, we had to take a bus to. It was just a parking lot and then they let us out, and we had to walk. But it was just out in the middle of nowhere, just a big empty field because it was cross country.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, but it was pretty cool, see people from different countries, all these
Oh,
flags,
that
and
was
everybody
for
ringing
Summer
the cowbells.
Olympics, or was
Winter.
that? Oh, that was winter.
2002.
What competitions for the Winter Olympics did they do in because I'm pretty sure they used Rice Eccles for it too.
Well, they did the opening ceremonies there.
Oh, okay.
Not sure what else.
They do they turn it into like an ice rink at all and do like skiing in there, or not skiing, ice skating.
Skating. Oh, they probably did hockey there.
That's pretty.
That
You've been
would
to
be
Rice
cool.
Eccles for.
I remember that
Supercross?
because I think they had Kiss play there. Like the opening ceremonies, I think Kiss played there. But it was also, I remember that. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, because I remember I went there when I was a kid, and it was like 2008, so it was like 6 years after the Olympics. But they still had like all the stuff, like the rings all over the stadium, and
That's still all over.
yeah,
But that's one reason why they have the tracks, the train that are running all throughout the city now, is just because they put those in. They put those in for the Olympics,
God,
and so now they're just expanding them.
I would love if our city would bring that stuff in so that we can expand, get out of the stone
They're
age.
actually doing research on that.
see, that would be cool. Like especially where you live here, if you want to like go downtown instead of getting an Uber, you could just hop on the train, go home.
Yeah,
Almost like people in on the western side of the valley just hop on a train and bring it down to the depot, get off there, take a bus downtown, and then do.
Oh,
the same
they
thing
ride the
back.
train over to Boise?
No, they could.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, there's the infrastructure there. There's the trains that run all through the whole valley.
Is that what they used to do?
Yeah. Well, there actually used to be a train from Caldwell down State Street.
Oh,
Huh.
yeah.
Yeah, downtown.
They were
Dang, that'd
talking
be
about that
cool.
for a while to.
So there used to be two train systems, one that ran from Caldwell around to the south, and then that one that ran down State Street.
Huh. I didn't know that.
Yep.
Justin's gonna go to the little girl's room. Wait. Sorry, I'm doing horrible today.
Yeah, you are. That's for you.
Yeah, I'm a clown.
I don't know. Do we have much else to talk about?
No, I looked up the latest sports. We could talk about Justin Tucker. What is it? Seven more have accused him of sexual misconduct.
Have you guys seen that meme? And it was like, the Browns just signed Justin Tucker or something like that. Because,
Traded for him for like a bunch of ridiculous stuff.
yeah. Just because of the whole
They want to get rid of him?
No, just because the Deshaun Watson thing, and he's on the Browns, so the Browns want Justin Tucker for the same
It's
thing.
like we need another one. Yeah, why not? We
need another sicko.
There's too many safe women in that city, so we need somebody else to come in.
Yeesh.
That's okay. That's too much. Yeah, I think that pretty much covers it for this week.
For sure, it wasn't the most.
Well, I think after the Super Bowl, everything's just kind of quiet.
Kind of in like a
with
stalemate.
Yeah, and with the NBA All-Star Weekend, we don't even consider that. I don't even consider that any kind of sporting activity.
Justin told me about the dunk competition, and I was thinking to myself, wait, I don't remember that.
No,
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't either.
We heard
don't
you
pay any attention.
We heard you destroying that bathroom.
Call him Matt McDunk.
Yeah, we were just saying, Justin. What are your thoughts on What are your thoughts on
I have no thoughts.
Justin Tucker, a fellow Justin. Seven more have
Accusations.
Oh, really? I didn't see any of that.
Yeah.
More?
as of like an hour ago.
Wait, there's more.
The community of Justins have disowned him, and we don't respect him. Never really.
You don't
did
consider
respect
him a
He was
Justin
kicker
anymore?
Anyway, who respects kickers? I mean,
This is what I think of Justin Tucker. He's on my fantasy team, my dynasty league, my money dynasty league. I'm kicking him off.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Should have played that when Justin came out.
Yeah,
out
right.
Oh, he's stinky.
damn, y'all are
No,
mean.
he is still a project in works.
Well, also, it's going to be a lot easier if this is set up to this, and I can just do this instead of picking it up, and then it'll be smoother. All right,
A work in progress,
Trust.
everybody. Work in progress.
trust the process.
All right. Well, anybody got anything else?
What did I miss? You guys just talking
No,
about
we were
this?
just a
there's
little bit of
just
that.
We were just making fun of your namesake.
Well, I guess let's see. I don't think so. Not like this was kind of a slow week, but
Yeah,
there
everything after Super Bowl is kind of quiet, other than All-Star. So
My main thing was the Kellen Moore
Yeah.
stuff.
we touched pretty much on. Oh, here's one. I have two things really quick I do want to talk about. Did you guys hear Nebraska is canceling their spring game? They're not going to televise it, and I don't even think they're going to do it because Matt Rule said it's just basically open market for people to come poach our players. They could watch it on TV.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
And I was thinking about it.
oh my God,
Yeah, he's kind of just being a crybaby now
Here's the
because he's
thing.
lost so many players.
Yeah, but I'm going to say this: Nebraska, a program like that has no problems getting. They have the name. People are going to go play at Nebraska and all that. I bet it's one of those things where the accuser is the one that's doing it. I bet they're out there watching, North Dakota, South Dakota, all them, and poaching their players. They don't want it to happen to them,
Yeah.
so they're like, we're not going to have our spring game because people are going to come poach and take our players because we're doing it.
Oh, so he's like bringing it to fruition and just throwing it out there, even though he's doing it.
Yeah,
Kinda like,
or
what-
he's just crying foul before he actually does it because
Yeah.
he doesn't want to be accused of doing it,
or
even
when,
though.
like when somebody is doing something and they're hiding it, but they don't want, and then they accuse the other person as it because it's like they're projecting it.
like
I
a
could see
fart.
that shit.
Oh, that wasn't me. That was him.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's like, look over here and then point over there. And then on the other hand, I'm going to bring somebody in. It's like, just don't look this way.
They could. I don't know if they're just completely canceling the game or they're just not televising it. But if it's canceling the game, just don't televise it. I mean, there's not much you can do. People are still going to go watch the game, but
Yeah,
you
that,
should
kinda,
do
that just
still.
hurts
You
the
should-
fans.
Yeah,
It doesn't even.
I don't think
There's so
Boise
much.
State.
There's so much information.
televises theirs.
No, they don't. There's so much information out there on all these players that if a coach or a team wants to look into somebody, they can find it.
It's because he tried to buy the Wish version of Patrick Mahomes and it's not working out. He didn't want to pay the full price.
So now he's
Damn.
pouting.
His team
We're not
moved
gonna do
Patrick
this.
Mahomes.
Yeah, they're not going to do it. So
Yeah, no, I thought that was weird. I mean, I didn't even know they televised those games very much. I guess it's like on
the Big Ten network,
Yeah.
SEC network, yeah, they always show on their spring game.
But here's the thing: like you said, they already have information on who these players are. I mean, they don't need much on that. They don't even need that. I mean, Boise State got Prince Strong poached, and he had like 3 catches all season. I mean, he had the potential, but he dropped the ball. I feel like more than he caught the ball, and he got picked up by USC.
I wish they would have.
USC.
Yeah,
I wish they would have poached Austin Bolt instead. Concrete hands himself.
What?
Yeah.
What was? What's his name? Slenderman.
got them long arms. Don't we want long arms? Just with sticky gloves though, not bricks.
Yeah.
But
Also,
also,
he's gonna be coming for us.
did you guys? Well, I don't think you guys saw this, but the UFL switching back to the dynamic kickoff because the NFL did, even though they came up with it, which never made sense to me when those two leagues merged. They went with the old style kickoff because that's what the USFL used, and the XFL had the dynamic. Then the NFL chose to use the dynamic, and now they're going back. I know it's because they want to have like some continuity for players moving up and down if they do, but I just thought that was
The
weird.
thing is players in college, high school, pee-wee, whatever, they're used to regular kickoff.
Well, that was the thing. Are they?
So that's the thing. If you're going to end up going to,
I assume they're going to have to.
So of course they would have to start from the very beginning with the dynamic kickoff. But if you're going to have all these players play with traditional kickoff,
But how many years do you think now? Because college is going to have to switch. They're not going to have 2 different kickoffs because there's no point. You can't evaluate that way. They're different kickoffs. Because even so, with the way it works in the XFL, they have to kick it within a certain yardage. They can't kick touchback. They can't do anything. It has to be inside or they get a penalty. The NFL didn't do that though, which is where it's falling short because they did it so that there were more returns and it was safer, but there are no returns because they allow touchbacks still. So in the XFL, I know they do that. what it does too is it makes it so like these kickers, their aim and their accuracy has to be better because you have to kick it in a certain zone. NFL doesn't do that, which they should. But
I don't think college players are that, they don't have that level of accuracy and the level of leg strength yet.
Well, it's just like within the 10 and the 30 or something like that, or the 15 or the 10 and the 25 or something like that. In that zone, you can kick it like ahead of that. You just can't kick it any further back than that. They have to be able to take it in because they don't want it in the end zone and then just do a touchback.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I don't think they're any
But I think one of the reasons why they went to that in the NFL is because concussions, and that's such a big deal. So until it's a bigger deal in college, I don't think it's going to change.
Yeah, that'd be kind of weird if they, I guess.
But once college does that, then high school is going to go to it, and then you're going to you're not going to have traditional.
Do kickoffs?
Yeah,
yeah,
really?
Oh yeah.
Do they do field goals? Because I feel like when I watched, they never did.
Well, so when I was on my freshman team, we always did 2-point conversions because we couldn't kick the field goals very well. The one time we did, it was
you got blocked and taken back.
I think it was. I think we were down by one. So instead of going for the 2, we did a field goal, and it was our quarterback, and it was just a really bad miss. So it just depends on if you have a good quarterback in high school. So
yeah. But once you get to college, you have a lot more variety of players, and you have the opportunity to get an actual kicker, even if you bring him in off the soccer team, or like Mike Leach did. Hey, we're gonna get a fan to do it. So
the goat. I'm so happy I got to see him for like half a second
when you were in college.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I went to what's it called?
A college up north.
Yes, very close to where he was coaching.
Lewis and Clark.
Yes. Anyway, I was sitting down. It was in the afternoon. There was no one on campus.
What were you doing?
I was smoking a cigarette. Okay.
Oh no.
And he was walking with. I'm assuming it was someone's like parent or something, because that's what it looked like. They were like kind of viewing the campus for whatever reason. I was smoking a cigarette, and then he
as people in college do.
And I saw this guy. I was like, "What? That's Mike Leach. What's that? I saw him on TV all the time." And then he looked at me and he kind of looked disappointed. So,
oh no!
So wait.
Did you take a long drag and blow a smoke ring at him?
I should have. He's like, "Hey kid, can you catch a ball?"
So now, since he's passed away,
catch this.
Since he's passed away, he went to the grave disappointed at you, and you'll never be able to figure
that.
out.
And he's telling God to put me in hell.
Oh man, you're screwed, dude. One more thing I do want to touch on. What do you guys think about the NHL's 4 nation instead of having like an all-star game, just the countries playing each other, the players playing for their country? You think it's a better idea than the all-star game?
I think it's akin to the NBA's in-league tournament. It's just another attention-grabbing thing. It's like
they're just trying
something new, just to try and get more viewers.
But do you like the idea over?
No.
You'd rather
if you want to do something like that, do it in the off season.
Yeah, that would make sense. Not in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
Injuries
Exactly. You get somebody, get their throat cut, get their leg cut, can't play. So
that's always scary.
Or they die.
So to me, it's unnecessary.
Yeah.
And if I was a player, it's like, no, I want to focus on my season with my team for the cup.
Yeah. That's the problem with those kind of things. It's so hard to line them up because I know, like with baseball, when they have the Summer Olympics, that's going to be during baseball season too, and so they're not. I don't even think they're going to have MLB players in it because they're going to be playing.
They
in the
suspend
MLB.
the season.
Oh, they are.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that'll fix it because I know that was a problem, and it's just basically not amateurs, but like lower ones that aren't playing in the MLB. It's like, but you want to see like the dream team, like.
Yeah, but it's like the World Baseball Classic. It's every 4 years, and it's outside of the season, which is how it should be.
That was dope. The last one that they had, it was so good.
Yeah, I think that's definitely
Japan.
World Cup of Baseball, but I think it's pretty cool. So,
I did see that they're playing a game in Tokyo, Dodgers and Cubs, to start off the season. It's pretty cool.
And there's going to be an NFL game in Berlin.
Yeah.
What time is that? Do you know what time
I
that
have no
baseball
idea.
game is going to be here?
It's technically
States?
opening day, but it's not because it's going to be a week ahead. And then opening day will be the next like Thursday or something. But I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, they did that last year.
Oh, really?
Japan?
In Japan? Oh, I didn't know
What
that.
time was it here? Do you remember?
I don't know, but it was like a week before opening day.
Okay.
So it's just like their NFL, the MLB's version of like the NFL international games they're trying to do.
Yeah.
That's smart. I mean, they love baseball in Japan, so why not go over there
On opening day? Opening day?
on opening day?
day?
Opening day.
It
was excited for opening day. It's opening day.
Yeah, we had a coworker. We won't get into too much detail, but he was very excited about opening day, and everyone at work. A lot of people weren't interested in baseball, but he would walk up and say, "It's opening day! It's opening day! Oh man, it's opening day!" And people are like, "Okay."
That same week, the UFL kicks off on Friday. We're gonna have to get together and watch that first game. It'd be sick.
No Cardale Jones though.
I
so.
know. No, he's too busy watching the Sonic the Hedgehog.
The third one, maybe
He's
if he
too
watches
fat.
the third one, watches the third one, he'll make a comeback.
That's true. I mean, that first XFL season with some of the players was sick. But this year, they're supposed to have some pretty good quarterbacks. I mean, Matt Corral, Kellen Mond, Max Duggan, and then a few other returning ones. So.
Matt McGloin.
Nah, Matt McGloin's not coming back. Oh, darn.
So, Dodgers and Padres opened the 2024 regular season in Seoul, South Korea on the 20th of March.
Damn.
Astros and Rockies played in Mexico City on the 28th and 28th of April. So those were international games. And London had Mets and the Phillies on June 8th and 9th. But yeah, 20th of March, like a full week ahead of regular opening day in Korea.
Nice.
Oh, Korea.
No, that was last year.
No, I know.
So I don't know what this year is.
We apparently don't follow the Padres enough, but I didn't know that. Did you know that? No.
No, that's when
I only follow the Padres when they're good. No, I'm kidding. It's just hard to watch the games because I feel like we don't get all the games either, being in our neck of the woods.
I can get them.
What? How do you get them?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. You pay for something or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see the UFC match last night?
Oh yeah, that was a
40-year-old was his name.
Killer
Gorilla.
The Killer Gorilla, Jared Cannonier. He looked good. Okay, so he's obviously fighting a contender that is getting pushed because he's big, he hits hard. In that first round, he knocked down the Killer Gorilla twice, and just got back up and was just trying to be careful, trying not to get hit, throwing a couple shots. In that second round, he started really putting it together. The other guy was just slowly getting tired, and it just kind of showed his veteran experience. Yeah. And then he ended up, I think it was the third round, I think he hit him with an elbow up close, knocked him down. And, oh man, it was a very exciting performance.
Isn't Killer Gorilla like 40?
He's 40, but I think he has he's one of those people that ages pretty well. He's in really good shape, and he probably has slowed down a touch, but he's still obviously destroying like this guy.
That's wild. Yeah, I saw that. I was looking up the highlights this morning, so I thought that was pretty cool. But
anyway, nothing else, guys?
No, I think that's it. I think we
right.
covered enough topics.
You ready?
Pulled some out of our hats.
Oh, yeah. Papa Flo, you ready for the outro?
Sure. Thanks for joining us on the Overtime Network. I'm Sean with Justin, Ian, and Dawson. You guys have a good day.